This is Growing Up Again, a podcast where we navigate the pains and joys of adulthood through the eyes of guests from different generations.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Growing Up Again podcast. I'm your host, Nicole, and join us as we discuss our personal stories through life and while opening up about the pivotal moments, the wins, and losses. Today, I am joined by two lovely ladies here. We have Daniella and Tomer. Thank you, guys. Like to give us a bit more information about yourselves. Tomer, I'm 27 years old. I'm a student. I'm also a student assistant at school, also an agile stand and creative business. And yeah, I'm originally from Israel.
I'm Daniella. I'm 26 years old. I am a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm also in the studio of CB in Elcheston. And I'm originally come from Colombia, but I'm living like 7 years, almost 7 years here in the Netherlands. So yeah, that's sweet.
We're all different ages, but we're still in our 20s. So my first question would be, what do you guys panic about in your 20s?
Whew. I remember when I was like 19, 20 years old, I was panicking like, I live in Curacao and I live with my parents, of course. And when you're 18, 19, you need like really take the decision to move to another country to study something. So I found it like really challenging, like how it's going to be, different culture, different country, like that's really how I'm going to finance my money, like a lot of stuff like rent, insurance, like all this kind of stuff I didn't know till I moved to the Netherlands. So I think that was like the hardest thing, and also like the pressure that I need to finish like a bachelor degree like in 4 years. So I think that's the most thing that I was like really panicking about when I was like 20, 19 years old. And now, like after 6-7 years, of course, I have now a lot of experience and I know like everything that I went through. And if I just look back, I think that everything happens for a reason. And now like more, I just learned about my experience. So I'm not panicking anymore, but I'm panicking something else, of course, because I have 2 kids. And now it's more like panicking about their future. The place in my future. So as a parent, then I have another things to worry about. But it's totally different when I was 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And I know for you, Tora, you don't really have to panic about the future of young people or something like, yeah, what?
Not my kids.
Yeah, not kids, but like, what are you panicking about?
Well, I'll also start by looking back, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it's obviously different because we're coming from different countries and like different mentalities and stuff. So when I was like 19, I was in the army. So my worries were being in the army. So I wasn't really thinking through about like studying and stuff. I think in general, it's very like, well, every other country besides like Israel is not supposed to worry about like, oh, you finish high school, you have the army. No, you just worry about school and education. So it didn't even cross my mind at the time. But I think when I was like 22 and I was already out of the army and I was working in this insurance company, I remember that my biggest fear was not knowing, my biggest panic was not knowing what I want to do with my life, like career-wise. And I was so pressured by myself and from, sorry, mom, yeah, also you. But my mom pressured me so much to be like, okay, you need to start studying already. You need to do this, you need to do that. And I was like, wait, but I don't even know what I want to do. And why would I force myself into studying so early and then later on regret studying that? Like, what's the point of spending the time and money on something that I'm later not gonna do? So I was very stressed about figuring out what I want to do, I think. And I didn't even think about how I'm going to finance it, where am I going to live and this and that. And then when I moved here, I think it's so interesting because I do struggle sometimes, like any other student probably, to finance everything and rent and this and that. But it doesn't put that much pressure on me, I think. I think it's still like sometimes crosses my mind like, did I choose the right path? And if I did, how am I gonna find a job after the studies? No one promises me that I'm gonna have like a good job after this, like even if I do the best that I can in the bachelor. So I think it's always scaring me to think about like the job part. And well, you're married with 2 kids, good for you. But I'm also a bit scared about like, I'm 27 and I'm surrounded by like students all day long because I'm a student, and most of the students here are like 18 to 22, 23, I would say. So also like relationship wise and well, a bit of love, I guess. That's also something that is like, I don't want to like finish the degree and then move somewhere and then start working and be 30 something and still single. Like that's something that scares me. Panicking.
Yeah, I think those are like very like common fears or doubts that people usually have in their 20s, especially like career wise, because like it's like after high school you have to like be in uni, you have to know what you're gonna do and this time. And the unfortunate part is sometimes things take time, or there's like a delay, or you have to change those plans. So I get that. And relationships, 100%. Even I'm panicking about that, and I'm young enough. And like, but like for me, my panic is, ooh, I actually have to like people in order to like get these things. Like, I want to get married, but I don't know if I want to get married to a person, or I just want the party and a big white dress. So for me, my panic is like, I want all these steps, but I don't know if like there are people to do that. I also panic about my friends a lot because I'm like, I've made such good friends along the way. And I always hear people talking about, oh, maybe you can share titles. People always talk about like, when people start having kids, they like change or like leave some friends behind. And I'm trying to be a rich auntie with no children. So I'm like, I'm not gonna leave me.
I mean, like Tomer said, like I said, I come from Colombia, and the culture there is, for example, like if you have money, then you can study, like do like a degree or bachelor or master or whatever you want to do. And in my case, like my family or my parents, they didn't have like the money to do something. So I think that pressure I also had like at home with my dad, because my dad was a single dad. So I was raised by a single dad, which I'm really proud, because you don't see like dads taking care of the kids.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. Shout out to my dad. But I also had like that pressure at home, like that when I said, you really need to study something, like you really need to be somebody. So like after all these years, after having my kids, I realized indeed that everything can change. Like, for example, I have like a friend, and we were like really close in that time. I think I was in that time 22, 23, and we went a lot of party and clubs and, do like those kind of stuff that I don't do anymore. But in that time, and then when I got pregnant and when I got my kids, we just got in different ways, because now I have my vision and how I see life is totally different when I was like 23 without kids. And so, yeah, it's when you became a mom, or that you have like different different things in life that you want to do, and then in the way that you can lose some friendships. It's just how it is.
To all my friends out there, you're not losing me. Okay? Just keep me there.
The cool rich auntie.
Exactly. No, I can help you raise your children. Like, don't leave me when you start having your children.
But one thing that I want to say is, a really good true friend will stay there no matter what. Yeah. So in the long way, you will see who are your true friends.
But that's true. I fully agree, and I think that's true. Well, I'm not a mother. Again, I don't have kids, but I fully agree with that based on my experience as well. Like, it's just, we all in this room, there's people over there. We all moved from another country, obviously, and we had friends back home, I'm sure. And I can tell that for me, I lost a lot of friends from back home, which I thought are going to stay with me forever. And like, there's this 7-year rule. Like, if you stay friends for longer than 7 years, then like you're going to be friends for life. Well, that's a lie. I had a friend for like 8 years, and we lost complete touch because I moved here. And it's just, I don't know if it's because she was a bad friend or I was a bad friend, or we just outgrew each other. We just grown apart. And like, I changed since I moved here, and she changed, and we just, so it happens. And I think that's, oh my God, look at me saying stuff as if I know anything. But I think that's part of like life in general. Like you have friends around or you have people around, and then at some point you just lose them. Sometimes it's their fault, sometimes it's yours, sometimes it's the universe's fault. I don't know, but I guess you're too cool to lose, so you're gonna be fine, I want to say. But don't worry about the fact that your friends are gonna have babies, because I think it's not even about that. I think it's just like, to adjust to something new. It doesn't have to, like, the babies are not necessarily the topic that in question. It can be like moving abroad or school or whatever. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that, I think.
Okay. And in terms of like how your 20s have gone so far, what would have your like expectations been meant, or like it's totally different, like the expectations versus reality? How has that gone?
Oh my gosh. I think we can approach that maybe like, I don't know how it is for you, but I already know that I had this very specific mindset of where I'm going to be when I'm 27 and where I am now. So maybe you can tell what you thought you're going to be.
Yeah. Like, to be honest, when I was like 20, I never in my life or in my head, I call that I'm gonna like have kids and like also marry. I was like really a girl that said like, I don't want to marry because I'm really a free bird. Like I like to be free. Really. I'm like, to be honest, I'm a person that if I say tomorrow I want to go to Japan, I want to do that. Like I just want to book a ticket and just go to Japan. Like I don't want anything to hold me back to Japan. Yeah, just have the fun. Go. And those kind of things I did when I was like a single and no kids and in my younger years. But like looking back, I would say that I went through a lot, but now I'm just happy how things were. Like, I did so many things that I wanted, and I got so many fears, like in the way that how it should be, like in another country. Like, it's really scary, of course, because I have like zero family in here, like someone that you can go in to support you when you're going through a really hard situation or whatever. So there was moments that I cried a lot, that I got in a really, really like deep depression, that I just want to end up with my life because, yes, it was like really hard, and I lose so many weight that I remember when I went back home to my parents. My dad said, "Why you're so skinny?" And I was, "No, that everything is fine," but nothing was fine because I was feeling so alone. And like in the Netherlands, the culture can be like really hard because here they're like, I don't know, like the people here when you want to like try to make a friendship, they are not really like open to that. So I felt like really like an outsider every time. And I also speak Dutch. Because when I grew up, it's in Curaçao, so it's a small island, and there we also speak Dutch. So for me, it was like, I know the language, so it's gonna be fine. So I'm gonna make a lot of friends, but it wasn't like that. So I felt really alone in my first and second years here in the Netherlands, and and along the way, I learned how to be stronger. Also, I learned to know more myself, like what I want in life, who I am as a person, and mentally, like mental health, like I'm just stronger now. So
Good for you.
That's really nice.
yeah. So I know that, for example, if my husband goes like for 1 month, I will be fine. What's that?
Yeah, expectations versus reality for your 20s. What happened?
No crying today. Okay. Well, when I was 20, 21, I think in general, I thought I will be... It's so interesting, because sorry, I'm cutting myself. Why am I apologizing? But like you said that when you were 20, you never thought that in 6 years, like when you're 26, you're gonna be like a mother, married, blah, 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 free bird. And like there you are, 26, married with 2 kids. Yeah, not such a free bird. I'm sorry. And I thought the complete opposite. So I thought that when I'm gonna be 25, 26, I'm already gonna be married. Really? Like I hoped, at least, that I'm gonna be married and pregnant, or maybe not a kid already. But I thought I'm gonna have my first kid at like 28 or something. And it's interesting, not so funny, ha ha ha, but funny because you didn't think you're gonna be there, but there you are. And I said I will be there, and there I am. So yeah, the expectation was to be married. But I don't know, maybe marriage shouldn't be my goal. I don't know why I kept thinking that is like a goal or something to achieve, because it's like, yeah, it is nice, I assume, to have your partner already and like to have kids, and I'm sure you're super in love with them and with him and everything, but maybe then she says it all. She's like, oh, I don't love it. No, shout out to my husband. I love you. Shout out to Daniella's husband. And her kids. But yeah, that was the expectation. Like, I thought I'm gonna be married, and also I started dating this guy when I was 21. We broke up already, so if you're single and ready to mingle, no, I'm kidding. But yeah, I started dating this guy when I was 21, and we were together for like almost 4 years, and it was like a discussion, like, oh, we're gonna move together to the Netherlands, we're gonna get engaged, we're gonna get married, blah blah blah.
How old are you when you're having these discussions?
We were, well, I was 24.
Oh, wow.
And he was 21.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, because I'm just trying to imagine myself that,
like, in 4 years, 3 years,
having those conversations, I will run away. I'm not a free bird like Daniella.
Yeah, but you know, maybe you're gonna end up like Daniella.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
Maybe like in 5 years, then you will have like 3 kids.
I mean, it's possible that you.
But I think looking back now, like, yeah, because you also said that you like everything that you went through, like even the harder parts, that's how you turned out to be the person you are today, and you're obviously happy with the person you are today.
Yeah.
So I think I feel the same. Like, obviously it would have been nice to maybe not be married, because I think now that I'm a student, I wouldn't want to get married as a student, like right now having a wedding. I want to have like either before starting the student life or after, but not in the, while.
Okay.
So that's okay. But I think, yeah, obviously it would have been nice to have a relationship right now or whatever, but I think I'm still like learning so many things about myself as a student that I didn't even think about before. That I think if I was in a relationship right now with someone or with that guy from back home, I wouldn't even I wouldn't even had the opportunity to get to know those parts in myself, because I would limit half of my opportunities because there's another person that I need to think about in the process. Yeah. So that's like the expectation versus like where am I today, and I'm also happy where am I today. So I guess that's just how it is.
Yeah. And do you guys think that these certain expectations that you had for your 20s were also motivated or like very much influenced by the pressure society puts on women to have like certain things? Like, obviously we're in a more liberal generation and stuff, but there's still that pressure, like, oh, you have to go to school, you also have to get married. Like, is this why, I don't know, for you, maybe Tomer, that's how you were thinking because you grew up maybe seeing a lot of people taking that path where it's like school, marriage, and then like marriage by a certain age? Do you think society played a role in the expectations you both had for your lives?
Yes, I mean, of course, it plays a huge role, because as society, like, we expect, like, talking as a woman, we hear like before your 30s you need to have kids because you have like this clock. Biological clock that you say, like, if you don't have your kids before your 30s, then it will be like really difficult to get kids after your 30s. I mean, if you're a woman that dreams about kids and family, that's a pressure. So yeah, I think that society is just it plays a like a really big role in like the choices that we or me took in that time. That's why when I was 20 and I had like the pressure of my dad like at home, and also the society, like, okay, you finish your high school, then you need to move to another country, you need to finish your bachelor in 4 years because you have to, and then after that you're supposed to go to work, and after that you're supposed to meet a person and then marry and then buy a house and then have kids. Now, in my situation, everything goes like,
It was just dope.
just not like how it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to go. But I think like everyone has a different path. I mean, of course, when I was like 21, I was just like really stressing, like, okay, I really need to finish like a bachelor degree. And I start studying something that I didn't want to, that I didn't even like, just because I wanted to make my dad happy and my family at home happy, that I switched like 2 studies. And then I was like, what I'm doing? And that I was at some points that I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, because I'm so like thinking about I have to make other people's happy, and I wasn't like happy with myself.
And then what's the point?
Exactly.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
I'm getting it now.
Yeah.
It's like, I think, I don't know.
Yeah.
If it's like the firstborn like syndrome, where it's like, okay, like you want to be independent and do stuff for yourself, but there's also so many people looking up to you or like expecting you to be
Exactly.
this person. So it's like,
I have that pressure, like, you have to be the role model. Yeah, you have to go, you need to do good. He doesn't have like a little sister, and my dad is way much shorter with her. Like, he doesn't care what she studied and what I mean, of course he cares, but I mean, in another different way. But yeah, of course, I think that probably maybe also have like a little bit of impact. But yeah, I think that's how
Society plays a role.
plays a role. Yeah.
I agree. I think in Israel it's a bit different. Like there's no like the labeling of like, okay, women has to do this and that, and men has to do this and that. Like, I think in modern society, in a lot of countries, it's already like the same kind of, but still there are some places where, you know, it feels like women still needs to fight to have like equality in like workplaces and salaries and stuff. But in Israel, it's actually sometimes the other way around. Like, women are more successful than men in general. There's more women going to work and men staying at home with the kids.
Really?
Yeah. But it's just because we are very good, like women in Israel. Like, they're just a bit smarter than the men. But okay. Like everywhere. Yeah.
That's always like that.
Yeah.
I say that. I'm sorry.
But we just like, our society kind of approves it, like it's a fact, and the men are just like, yeah, that's true.
I didn't know that. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Like, it's not like every family is like that. Like, men work as well, obviously, a lot. But okay, maybe it's my experience because I worked in very specific offices and with very specific people. But like, it's not rare to have like a female CEO or like, you know, manager or like what, like it's very like.
Because you guys are Jewish, maybe it's peaceful.
No, not necessarily. I don't know. Because we also work with like Muslims and Christians. Like, it's very mixed, but I have no clue actually. Israel is interesting. But I think for me, I never really knew what society expects. I know that there's the biological clock, obviously, and like there's a certain age where it's gonna be way harder to have babies and to do the whole process. So that's obviously something that puts some pressure on me, because I want at least like 2 kids because I'm an only child.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it is important to have more than 1 kid because I know how it is to grow up alone. And it's not so fun.
to grow up as an only child. Don't say no.
Not alone. Oh my God, Mom, love you so much. My dad's passed away, so only Mom. I love you, Dad, as well, up in the sky. But my mom, she raised me alone, and like I didn't mean alone. Thank you, Mother, for everything. But yeah, I meant like without siblings. Oh my God, I talk too much. Who gave me a mic? But I think a lot of the expectations that put pressure on me were mine. Like, I had expectations of what 20s should look like, and I was like, when I was a teenager, I was like, I can't wait to be like 24, and I'm gonna live in like this big studio apartment.
Again, that I think a lot is influenced by media as well.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for me, it was first like, I don't know. Obviously, when I was younger, before I like understood everything, and I just knew, you know, like I knew love from like fairy tales, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna be with my friends. I'm gonna get married at 22. I'm 22 next year. Please, if someone says they want to marry me, I'll be like, you're lost. I don't know who you are.
Don't do that.
I'll be like,
Stay away.
wrong person, right? And then like now I'm realizing, like, obviously this was me when I was like 6 or something. Now that I'm like 21, I'm like, who did I think I was saying I was going to be married by like next year? Like, obviously I also need, because when you're younger or when you see it on TV, even how they like, how the media portrays being their 20s, like people will be struggling, but they're struggling so a nice penthouse apartment in New York. And I'm like, I want to struggle like you, because if that's your struggle, I also want to be like, oh, I'm broke, but like I'm really not broke. Basically, when I was 6, I used to think, oh, by 22, that's the perfect age to get married. And then I think it's also because of like seeing like people in my mom's generation as well getting married younger, but that's because, you know, the way of life was totally different, and like it was, yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get married and I'm gonna live in a nice apartment in New York City. Like, it's okay if I struggle because I'll be in New York. Because I also used to like watch like Sex in the City with my aunt, and I'll just and I like seeing them, and they're like, you know, or when Carrie would be like, you know, buying all the designer outfits, and I'm like, that's me. Not me at 22. No, but
They were then.
literally in the right state of work. That's me.
No, but I think it's a combination of everything. I think it's a combination of society, combination of the media, how they portray like how year 20 is supposed to be. And I think also what you said a little bit of yourself. Yeah. Like how, I think it's a combination of everything.
True. And I feel like this then leads to people comparing themselves. Like, I don't know, but since you probably have friends work in different stages or stuff, do you see them comparing each other, or have you compared yourselves to like certain people and said, wow, their lives are moving forward, or oh my God, if I took this party, I would be looking like this an ex?
Like, to be honest, I think when it was 2019, the boom of the social media, of course we had social media because I'm not too old people, but that old. That old. But I think it was like that someone like comment. So, but now I can see like students like when I was like in high school, and I see them, oh, they already have a bachelor degree, they have this, that. Sometimes, of course, you go to compare yourself like, okay, I'm also supposed to have like my bachelor degree, maybe a master by right now, and maybe like a really the job that I wanted. And so I think it's really normal that you're going to compare yourself, and more nowadays that the social media, it plays a huge role also in our life. But to be honest, we're again with my kids, I'm married, blah blah. But again, because now I'm like more mature, I know that what you see in social media, that doesn't mean like it's like that, you know? Because maybe they have the bachelor degree, but you don't know what the person really like went through to get that bachelor degree. So you cannot never compare yourself with other people, and because it's not like realistic. So that's something that I learned. And also I don't share like a lot because I'm a really like private person in social media. But of course, sometimes I compare myself. I'm not gonna lie. And you go like thinking like I'm doing this, I'm doing all right. It's also like my husband, he's 34, and he still does that. Like, oh, my friend has this and they have that, and you know, I think it's just something normal. Also,
kind of unavoidable even.
Yeah,
it's just a thought in your head.
Yeah,
you can't really control that.
Exactly. So, yeah.
So you guys have shared a lot about like the panic. Yes. And I mean, you're still in your 20s, so I'm assuming, and I'm probably right, that you guys still have things that you're uncertain about. And I mean, as much as I would love to give you the answers, I think I can't help. But I have some papers here that each of you can write on, and then the guest in our next episode who is probably more experienced, can answer any questions or doubts that you guys might have. So take it away. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm gonna put this here so I can write.
Yes.
I think the pins are in the box.
Yes. Got it for here.
thank you everyone for listening to this episode. I hope that we gave you some insights, and it was something that everyone could take away from this episode. Tune in next episode as we talk and discuss the one of the many topics that relate to our 20s and the whole feeling of like overwhelmed and the panicking. And also we will be talking about the lovely notes that the two ladies here wrote in this box. Make sure to catch us on matters.frl. Thank you. Bye.